What the heck was this episode? How is everyone doing today, guys? My name's Steve Coates, and woo, this episode is insanity. This is the Owl Owls episode. This is episode 35 of the series, episode 16 of season 2, Hollow Mind, and whew, I mean, just oh. I think I want to start by saying, like, through this entire week, I mean, because there was a lot going on about, like, Hollow Mind, like, the hype, like, the hype around this episode, like, there was talk about it as, like, this is one of the best episodes of the season, which I mean, it's like, it's like, keyword is one of, not the, so it's like, there's probably gonna be a lot of crazy episodes after this as well, but, like, this, oh my gosh, this episode is just, it really is insanity for what it delivers, for what it sets up, and most importantly, for what it leaves us on. It's just, oh. So, yeah, let's get into this. So, there's a few things about this episode that sorry, it's windy outside. So, a few things I was wondering about for this episode was, in terms of how they wanted to set this whole thing up, because there are two things about this episode where I was like, I wonder if they had another idea for this. But, of course, the beef of this episode is the fact that Luz and Hunter are accidentally teleported into the mind of Emperor Belos, which is, I'll admit that it was a little weird when, like, so, okay, here's the first thing where I'm like, I wonder if they had a different idea how to do this. So the whole episode literally opens up with Luz waking up inside the mind of Emperor Belos. Like, it throws you into that, and you're just like, you immediately, of course, have questions of like, what the heck happened? How the heck did we get here? What is going on? And of course, Hunter's in there too. So it's like, they're both trapped inside the Emperor's mind. And it's like, I wonder if, like, that was more just like to throw everyone in, just be like, wait, what? I mean, because granted, we don't get that much of a backstory as to how, like, it opens, I mean, after they're inside, after we open up with that scene, you know, Luz, like, how the heck did we get here? What happened? And Hunter's like, don't you remember? Have the flashback with Hunter just, Hunter was in the night market. He said he was searching. He said he kind of got into, I wouldn't say a tip. I kind of forget. I mean, because, like, again, literally saw this episode, want to talk about it. Hunter found, like, he was following these, like, wild witches, but the reflection of someone's glasses with the abomination spell of another witch, and then the fact there's this tiny little witch there too. It's like Rain, Darius, and Everwolf are doing something. We just didn't know what, or at least at first we don't know what, but we realized quickly, it's like, oh wait, they were going to be the ones that were going to enter Emperor Belos' mind and do something. It's like, we don't know what their original plan was, but all we know is that they were planning it, and, like, they were incognito for this episode, which part of me was wondering why they did that too, because I'm like, I mean, we could tell it's Rain, we could tell it's Darius. I mean, maybe it was just more to, like, keep that, like, I mean, for Ida, it makes sense, you know, because, like, you don't want her knowing that it's Rain, Darius, and Everwolf just yet. So, like, keep them in the dark about it. And I guess it makes sense that they need to be inconspicuous so Hunter doesn't find out. Like, I keep answering my own questions. But I guess in terms of, like, them, like, when they're alone, you know, they're off to the side and can be, like, taking off the hoods and be like, well, that didn't, like, Darius being like, well, that didn't go the way we wanted it. And Rain's just being, like, they're just like, well, we have no choice now, but we gotta help them get out of Belos' head now. It's like, it's like that could have been interesting, but I mean, like the episode for them, it's like they're just off to the side after the spell doesn't go right, and then they go and help Ida by just basically giving them what they need in order to fix or to get Luz and Hunter out of Belos' mind. But all that is like, what the freaking heck? But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much the majority of the episode is Luz and Hunter inside the mind of Emperor Belos, and it is a messed up sight because. At first, you think it's this nice blue hallway, but there's a few things, like there's it's not a memory, it's just a planned plot, an idea, I guess is the best way to sum it up, with Belos looking to destroy Ida, King, Luz, and Lilith. It's like he has that idea planned in his head, so he's like, I need to do this, I can't wait to do it. And it's, of course, for Luz, it's like, that's not a good thing. But for Hunter and Luz, it's like, we gotta, like, Hunter, of course, is like, oh, we're in the Emperor's mind. I mean, granted, we need to find a way out. Maybe we can look for something. It's like, I know everything about the inner workings of this stuff. But, of course, they eventually get encountered by two beings. One is what seems to be a small emotional side of Belos is him as a kid. He's wearing a little Kill a Kid mask. He has a sword. He seems very curious but scared at the same time. So it seems like, oh, that's the maybe that's the little Belos or like something like that. And then there's this scary looking being that is really, like, the details are creepy as heck, and I just like the multiple eyes, the bird like look to it was so insane, and it's just like, ugh. But because of that scaring Hunter and Luz, they fall into what actually is like the actual mind of Emperor Belos. Like the hallway they were in was kind of like the forefront. This is then they fall into the actual like depths of Belos's head, and so this is where they find his memories of stuff that he actually did. And what's interesting is with this creature entity chasing him, the little kid Belos who doesn't have any words, it's mainly just a bunch of like little kid noises, like sometimes he laughs, sometimes he cries, sometimes he's just leading him through different memories. And so that's what he does. He leads them through a series of memories of Belos doing some shady things when he was younger. Like the first memory that they go into is Belos is in this town, he's on a stage, it looks like he's kind of like he kind of looked like he was a salesman of sorts, and he's talking about how wild magic is evil, it's dangerous, you can't be anything. A few things stuck out to me, of course, one of them being like his mask it's wooden, it looks very withered, and so it's very, it's like, so he's just starting out, but then it's like he's talking about, wild magic, and like he sees the true nature of magic being through the 9 covens, through 9 hues of light, I think it's like, or 9 hues, I see this true world of magic and stuff, and it's like, okay, cool. And it's then even his staff is very like, it's very like handcrafted. It's not like his staff nowadays where it's very advanced high tech. But so because it's him, it's artificial magic. But yeah, he's trying to convince these people that wild magic is bad and they need to actually be focusing on order and stuff. And then he seemingly is attacked by wild witches, and he's like, oh, wild witches that come for me, run! And it's like, but it turns out this is all just a skit played by a golden guard, which I find very interesting because, I say find it very interesting, but we all know it's the fact that there have been multiple golden guards. But what I found interesting about this was the golden guard in this case he was acting more just like a henchman, or like a assistant, like henchman for Belos, whereas like for Hunter, like Belos actually seemingly had sympathy, he actually sounded like he cared, like he talked about stuff like with Hunter, and granted he's not a full 100% sympathetic guy towards Hunter, but it's like it sounded like he's just ordering this golden guard around. He's like, you nearly took my head off with that demonstration. And he's like, I'm sorry. And he's like, you better be. And it's like, and then of course it's just, at first I'm like thinking, okay, so Belos is just doing these skits to try and get people to inside. But then he does this. He has, it's like, what do you want me to do with the rest of the explosives? And he's like, give him a better demonstration. It's like, oh, it's like, did you, what? And then it's like, I'm like, I didn't want to think, okay, maybe they're just leaving it out to be open. But then like the next memory they go into, they confirm that Belos is freaking psychotic. It's like, I mean, yeah, we know he's crazy, but it's like, there was like, maybe he has an idea, maybe he wants to really save these, maybe he believes that the true meaning of magic is like, you need order, you need conformity, that's why he has the coven system. And then it's like, nope, he really just wants to kill all these because he literally burns down an entire village, and it's the ruins of the knee. It's like the ruins of the knee that we've seen in a few episodes. It turns out that's what it was. That's how it happened. Belos burned down that entire village because he wanted to convince these people that wild magic is bad and you need to conform to the system. And so in this memory, we see Belos, or his second golden guard, and I say this, or at least his second, one of his golden guards, giving the branding to the different witches. And I know it's another golden guard because the attire is different. Like in the first memory, the golden guard's attire seemed more eloquent and fancy. Like he had like one of those weird things that you wrap around a neck. I don't know what those called because I hope to God I never have to wear one. But the second golden guard, in the second memory, the golden guard's attire is different. It's a different color. It looks more like the golden guard outfit that Hunter kind of wears, except the color is dark brownish a bit, so that's the only difference. But in this case, with this memory, Belos is giving him the sigils. However, the sigils, they don't isolate the powers. They actually seemingly they leave him in this this creepy state. Just like they're it literally goes up and it paralyzes them in a way and just keeps them alive, but just Belos leaves them for dead. It's just like, my gosh, it's like, that's such a messed up thing. And then of course, as we keep going, like as Luz and Hunter continue following this Kid Belos through different memories, we do see that, but then we get a reveal of the Collector, which is this was a weird thing because I'm like, I mean, as we saw in Knock 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 on Hooty's Door with the memories of the Collector, it's like they looked a little bit different. I mean, like they actually had a physical form. You know, they had the hood, they had the moon as under their as like a face. That's like, now here it's like this kind of 2D ghost kind of thing. It's like it roams around. It's like a shadowy figure. It's like, and I was getting some Bill Cipher vibes off it because the way it was talking, granted, it didn't speak exactly like Bill Cipher. It's like, because, you know, it's kind of like this different being, but it's clear that this being has big plans and he's using, it's like, now it's like seething seas and puppet strings. It's like that. It's like, maybe it's like Belos kind of seems to maybe be the puppet here. It's like, because, you know, he's the physical, he's actually there. He can help this Collector build a portal. And it seems like both him and the Collector have the same goal, and that's to destroy all of wild magic in the demon realm. Because even the Collector is like, oh, but through the nine, it's like through unity, it's like humanity, unity, it's like talking about literally cleansing this world of, it's like, oh my gosh. And so it's like, geez, it's like Belos is really just this it really just shows that Belos is far from whatever he initially was ever. Like, I doubt he ever was anything, because, I mean, well, one thing I want to talk about too is throughout this episode, as they're going through his head, there's multiple memories. Like, they see multiple, like, there's obviously all the pictures, all the frames. I noticed, I didn't catch all of them. I just noticed a few in the background. One of them did look like, I'm gonna say is his brother, like Belos' brother, and it seems like he really, like one of them looked like they were really happy. Another one looked like it was this, looked like a fight was going on. I couldn't tell. And then another one looked like the brother was off with someone else, and like you had, and I'm so if I had to make a guess, I mean, again, I need to look at these photos again, but it's like if I had to take a guess, this was during, I mean, okay, if Belos, or Philip in this case, if he was around in like the 1600s, it's like that was like during like if I remember correctly, that was like during like the Salem witch trials. It's like obviously witches and magic was like, that is like, no, you don't want that. It's like, burn it alive. So I guess it would make sense if Belos and his brother, if they got teleported to a world like this, they would be like, but maybe the thing was his brother saw it as like, oh, it's actually not that bad. It's like there actually is good in this world. We can actually... It's actually pretty good. And then Belos probably was like, no, we were told, this is how we were raised, this is like maybe, so clearly there was a divide between the two, which led to Belos killing his brother. And so from there, he must have really spiraled out of control, because it's like, if I had to take a guess, he saw it more as like his brother was consumed by the magic and he needed to be taken out, and so now he wants to make sure it doesn't happen to the rest of humanity, because he literally outright says that. He's like, because he actually does eventually show up in his head, because, yeah, so let's actually get back to how that happens. So Luz and Hunter, they're, in the memory where Belos is talking with the Collector, and Luz discovers that the portal is actually the portal that she thought she destroyed is still intact. Because beforehand, it's like, oh, he's probably just creating his own portal somehow, and it's like, I don't know. But it's like, no, it's like, here's like, oh no, he's actually got the portal working, or at least something. And then, of course, like, Hunter is like, yeah, I helped him with it. And then the memory turns out it's of Hunter after he came back from Eclipse Lake, giving Belos the key. However, Belos, like, clearly has no sympathy for Hunter in that moment. He just takes the key and he looks at it and he's like, leave now. And it's like, Hunter then leaves, and then even the Collector's like, ooh, you were so mad at him. And he's like, I don't understand why you keep making them. You're just gonna destroy him. Wait, do you actually enjoy that, destroying each one of them? And it's like, of course, like, that's the bombshell there. It's like it's like Hunter like Luz, of course, is like wondering what the heck a grimwalker is. But it's clear to Hunter that whatever he is to Belos is really just nothing. It's like a tool. It's like if it's broken or if it's working against him, Belos is gonna not hesitate to get rid of it. It's like, jeez, that is messed up. And of course, that's like Hunter in this episode. Once he realizes that, he's so scared, he's so frightened, and you just feel for him in this. Because after they leave that memory, and then they find like the kid Belos, who it turns out he was going through these memories to collect items to seemingly do something, and it turns out he was trying to catch whatever this crazy entity is. However, the twist is this entity actually is, oh gosh, it is the remnants and souls of the palisman that Belos has been absorbing. It's like, oh, that is messed up and dark. And then, of course, turns out that the kid Belos actually was indeed the inner Belos. It was disguised as this little kid to trick Hunter and Amity, or Luz. I keep wanting to say Amity because, I mean, of course, the main thing about this episode is it is just like in Understanding Willow, the same concept, going inside someone's mind to understand them a little bit more through the memories of their past, discovering things about the characters and stuff. But in this case, it's much more twisted and messed up because, oh boy. I mean, just the way they discover that they're like, wait, we've been with the inner Belos this whole time. And it's like, once like inner Belos reveals himself, like just the creepy laugh from the kid, just like, he's just like, it just sent a chill up my spine. And of course, it's like, once Belos reveals himself after he deals with the entity, he's like, thank you, Hunter, for keeping it distracted. It's like, I appreciate that. But then, of course, Hunter's like, what did you do to the other guards? Our family. It wasn't wild magic, was it? And of course, Belos is just like, I'm disappointed in you, Hunter. You look the most like him. And then, of course, Hunter's like what? It's like, so clearly he doesn't understand. I mean, he doesn't understand yet that he's a grimwalker of Belos' dead brother, because I think in terms of like Belos, he wanted to, if there was anyone he was really going to trust, it was going to be his own brother again, and in some shape or form. But in this case, it's like Belos continuously creates a clone of his brother, and if they turn against him, he at this point doesn't even faze him that he has to destroy it. Like when Hunter's like questioning that, and like he realizes that Belos doesn't even hesitate to try and kill Hunter in his mind. It's so messed up. And of course, Luz is like, this whole time is like, she understands Hunter in this case being like, this guy, he needs help. Belos needs to be stopped somehow, because that's the thing. Luz wants to understand how so many people have been duped by Belos, how the heck that they can listen to him, and they need to understand the truth. She needs to prove that Belos is really this evil dude. But in this case, Belos is just, I really do wonder how, if Belos plans everything, or if the collector tells him what's gonna happen, and like Belos just needs to work with that, or if Belos is just so good at using what is given to him, taking opportunities to really do stuff. Because I doubt he would have predicted Hunter and Luz being able to actually entering his mind, like, unless like once they actually did, he knew, and then he was like playing with them. Because there is really no way he could have planned this whole thing out unless he knew. And it's just like, unless he knew ahead of time. And it's just like, because once he reveals himself, and deals with Hunter, now he's there with Luz, and it's like Luz is just wanting answers, it's just like, why would you do this why would you do this to these people? And it's like, well, it's like, why would you do this for so long? And then Belos' response is being like, yeah, this has gone longer than I wanted. And it's like, but a witch hunter has to, and it's like, that's the thing. It's like this whole ruse by Belos is just so he can cleanse, like he wants to destroy, he really truly does want to rid the world of magic, really, because like, and now all of a sudden it makes sense. It's like he has everyone in the coven. Besides whoever the 9 main heads are, it's clear that he has them drain the magic from everyone who has a sigil. He has them. It's good to like drain all the magic from them into these 9, or maybe even just himself. And then he uses that magic to rid the rest of the world of wild magic. So like anyone who's not in a coven will be gone. Like will be slaughtered, purged. It's like, and of course it's like, well, what about the people that are for the covens? It's like, well, they won't have any magic because they will just be drained of magic. It's like, so does that mean, are they gonna die? Is it gonna be like the basilisk thing where it's like all their magic is gonna be drained? It's like, that's probably why he wants the basilisk, because he wants to understand how they drain magic. It's like, what the freaking heck? It's like, so for Luz, of course, it's like, this is insanity. This is nuts. It's like the bombshells. And she, of course, she's like, how could anyone be duped by you with all this? And then Bella's is like, I wouldn't try and talk about that. And then this was the one thing I was wondering about with him, because the thing is, there's a few things I wonder about this. One is the villain revealing way too much for the hero, and because, I mean, in this case, I think Belos knows that there's no way Luz can prove any of this to the people and turn them against him. So he probably figures, well, I can just tell her and nothing truly bad will happen. But it's like, you probably don't. But I wonder, so after all these bombshells that he gives Luz, he then reveals to her that he's Philip. Like, and the way he shows it is freaking nuts. He shows her the memory of them in Elsewhere and Elsewhen. And I'm like thinking, well, of course he would have figured it out. I mean, it's like, because, you know, it's like once Luz reappeared, like once Luz arrived in the, like in season 1, he had to have known at that point it's the same person. But it's just for Luz to be like, she literally at first is like, she can't believe that. She literally is like, no, she refuses to believe that Philip is Belos. It's like, no, you are not. You're Belos. You are not this. You're not this man. And it's like, and then even Belos is like, Belos is not even like, search your feelings, you know it's true. It's just like, say my name. I want you to say my name. And it's like, we never hear Luz in the present say it. Like, we hear it in the memory, but we never hear her say it in the present. And then we just cut away, and then we cut back, and like we cut away to Ida trying to figure out how to get Luz and Hunter out of Belos' mind, and that's to create a potion to send them out. But at first, it's like doesn't seem to be working. But that's when Rain with Darius and Everwolf, which. I'll give them this. Even though they don't talk in this episode, they do have one funny moment, which is they're outside the owl house, they're scouting it out, and they're clearly like, okay, how do we need to help them, or we got to do something about this. And so Rain literally writes in the dirt. It's like I know how to get past the owl. I know how to get past the bird. But then it's like I know how to get past the bird. But then it's like owl 2. Thing. It's like I love the way they pan it. It's like you see owl, you see bird, then it pans the owl, then it pans the tube, then it pans the thing. It's like funny. That's really funny. But so Rain, they give Ida, like they don't like open the door and like show themselves. It's like they give Hootie flowers, and it's like Hootie's like, this is from your secret admirer, and I'm like, is that enough to signal that it's Rain or not? But it turns out the flowers contain the actual ingredients needed for the spell. However, it does come at a cost. It needs a strong power source, and of course, the only power source strong enough to probably use it is Titan's blood. And as Ida points out, it's the very for Amity's like glove. It's the last of the Titan's blood. So like, that's basically signaling. There is no chance Luz is going to get home with the portal unless she goes to Belos. It's like, that she lost that card. And it's like, that's probably another reason why Belos maybe knows, maybe? I don't know. But basically, that's how Ida gets Luz and Hunter out, because, and of course, she used the last of the Titan's blood and to power the spell, and it's like, oh no. It's like, we're out of Titan's blood. It's like, oh no. But for Luz and Hunter, it's even, I mean, Luz, of course, you know, once she realizes that Belos is Philip Woodbane, the very man that did all of this, and of course, it makes me wonder if, like, because did Belos know that Luz would come back, or did, like, because the thing about Philip's journal, it's like, he donated it to the library, so I'm like, did he create the portal, knew what to do, but then lost it, and then after that, he just, like, it's like, what was the plan with that? It's like, but, of course, we're probably gonna get answers about that later, but, Belos, of course, is just odd about Luz being like, you know, like, she, of course, he doesn't even hesitate to try and kill her because, you know, he thinks she's the crazy one for thinking that, you know, oh, purging an entire world of magic, that's insane, and, like, so, of course, Belos is like, you're crazy, tries to kill her, but then Hunter shows up and saves Luz, like he was able to escape whatever Belos got him in, and he saves her, and then the two, they flee, and I love this shot where Ida's like, okay, forgot to completely mention two things. One, the reveal of Belos, Belos revealing that he's Philip. I wonder what would have happened if we didn't get that reveal in Elsewhere and Elsewhen. Like, imagine if this was the episode where we got the reveal that Belos was Philip. It's like, oh man, that would have been an insane bomb. That would have been like, out of all the bombshells we had, this like that one being like, what? But I think maybe Dana and the crew were like, well, considering how they set up Belos in Elsewhere and Elsewhere, kind of like, let's like, backstabbing jerk. It's like, okay, maybe he is Belos, like, but I think it would have been insane if like we got that reveal in this episode, and it would have been like, oh, what? That's just me. But I mean, for Luz, of course, that's like the bombshell of the bombshells. Is like, oh. And okay, so I want to clear that up. The next thing is Ida was able to communicate through Luz this entire time because they had a walkie-talkie. I mean, I guess that could work. I mean, I don't know. But it was a weird thing just being like, near the beginning of the episode, Ida's like, Luz, where'd you go? And Luz is like, oh, we're kind of in the mind of Emperor Belos. And it's like, what? How? It's just, but, so Ida calls Luz in the moment, just being like, Luz, we can get you out. Let us know what you're running. Like, and so she starts a countdown. And so as Luz and Hunter are running towards the walkie-talkie, because Luz dropped it, they're running towards the walkie-talkie. Hunter looks at Belos, and they just give like that look to each other. Like for Belos, it's more of just that look of disappointment, while for Hunter, it's that look of just betrayal. Like you feel him for this episode. The fact that he learns, I mean, not only is this whole thing a lie, like, because literally in the memory, Belos is like, when Belos is talking about Hunter, he's like, oh, I just say the Titan has plans for you and he does whatever I want. It's like, for Hunter to get that, to be manipulated, to have that is just, oh, that's such a, that really just, of course, flips his world upside down. And so when Luz and Hunter, they get back to the present, they get back to reality, I guess. Hunter, he's just freaking out. He's like, he doesn't know what to do. He's just like, he's so scared. Like he doesn't even, like, Flapjack tries to comfort him, but like Hunter, he is just so lost, so afraid. And it's just, and of course he like runs off. Like he can't. Like Luz, even in the middle of the episode, like after Hunter starts putting pieces together that Belos may not be the good guy, she offered him to stay at the Owl House. It's like, that was a nice little gesture. And even like, and Hunter in this episode, like he for the most part, he's like, obviously he doesn't like Luz, but he has that feelings, he cares about Flapjack, because early in the episode when Flapjack, when Hunter and Luz are teleported in Belos' mind, like, and then Ida calls through the walkie-talkie, Flapjack even is there and like communicates with Hunter, and Hunter's like, Flapjack, are you okay? Did they hurt you? And it's just like, they're fine. It's like, your friend's fine. It's like, don't worry. And it's like, and Hunter's like, okay, Flapjack, just hang tight and I'll come back to you. And he's like, I love you. It's just like Hunter legit. It's just, you feel for Hunter in this episode, and you even feel for Luz, of course, because it's just the fact that her entire, everything she learned about Belos is like, it's just so much worse than she could possibly have imagined. It's just, for her to feel all that is so, oh man, it's just, but the episode really ends with Hunter runs off, and who knows where he's gonna turn up, who knows where he'll be, and what's going to happen to him. But of course for Luz, it's just like, she herself is just in disbelief. Like I said, everything it's so much, it's worse than she could have imagined. And so the episode ends with that, just like Ida walks up to Luz being like, Luz, what did you see in there? And it just, that's it. We don't get any, we don't get, she doesn't say anything. It just cuts there, and it's just like, this episode, it's so insane. It is so messed up. It is so, oh my gosh. And honestly, it's just insane. It's like, honestly, oh man. I mean, it's kind of like the Not What He Seems. It's like Not What He Seems in Gravity Falls. It's just like all of these bombshells and these reveals. It's just insanity. But I mean, whereas that was more of, just being like, that one, okay. Not What He Seems was like, that one was an insane episode. There was a lot of stuff going on. There was a lot of things going on, but it gave us there was a lot of payoff to it too, because it's like the whole series was building. Up to that point, the whole series was building up to stand with the portal. Here, we're not even at the Day of Unity yet. It's like, we're still getting to the Day of Unity. It's just all of these bombshells, and we're not even at the Day of Unity yet. It's just like, what the heck? it's like, oh my gosh, it's like, what do we do now? It's like, oh, it's such an insane episode. And I mean, that's what's so crazy about it. It's like, it's oh man, it isn't ridiculous. And it was such a great episode. I mean, just the story, the setup, the characters in this episode, just the reveals, all of that. And of course, like I said, this amount of little Easter eggs throughout that I'm gonna definitely have to go back and find. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's about it for this one. I have no idea where we can go from here. I mean, I know we're gonna go from here because we gotta get to the Day of Unity, but it's like, now that Luz knows the truth, now that like Hunter knows some of the ideas of like, and what he kind of is the Belos, it's just like, oh, but there's still so many questions. It's like what exactly happened between Belos and his brother that truly like sent him down this road of madness? Who the heck is the Collector, and why is it this like shadowy kind of mind thing? It's like, it's just man. Okay. Ugh, my head. Just literally running through these thoughts. It's just, oh my gosh. Okay. I'm gonna end it here, and I'm probably gonna take a break because right now in my head, oh my gosh. I mean, I know I have to talk about the Amphibia episodes, but this episode was just, whew. Okay, with all that said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. And if you want to subscribe, subscribe. You don't have to. I'm just saying. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.